Welcome to the Well-Mind Quickie, my version of YouTube Shorts. Today we're looking at how to hold your own when people are blowing hot and cold. In other words, when people are behaving in an inconsistent manner. Hi, I'm Frida Willis. Who am I, what do I do, and how do I do it? Well, first of all, I'm human, and that forms the basis of everything I do. I never forget that at the end of the day, we are all just human. I have studied as a psychotherapist and a coach, and for fun, I call myself a theracoach. I also like the term a thinkologist because I specialize in helping people think their way out of problems. What is thinkology? Thinkology is literally the science of your thoughts, the path that a person takes to reach a certain conclusion through thinking and reasoning. And I help them alter or change or redirect this path. It is this path that is the precursor to your actions, your deeds, your habits, and your behaviors. And in the end, when you change your thinking, you can change your life. So today we're chatting about what do we do when somebody's blowing hot and cold in a relationship. An example that I've been working with recently is a couple that was busy splitting up, and the one partner is one day nice, the next day mean, the another day nice again and mean again, and nice again and mean again. And this really gets the goat of the person on the receiving end of this. So my first comment for everybody dealing with somebody like this is, remember, let them do them. You do you. If you are able to see their inconsistent behavior and you know where you stand, you know what is your truth, stay there. Hold your own. Notice, but don't respond. Don't react. Don't climb on the roller coaster of hot and cold, up and down, nice and not nice with them. You will only end up exhausted and massively confused. So what is wrong with us that we do this? We tend to be reactors instead of responders. We go into reactive mode almost as a knee-jerk, impulsive reaction just to deal with a situation, just to do something. And oftentimes that does not really help us much. What we need to do is to observe, breathe, pause, and respond from a place of our own doing our own life. If we get all reactive, we will end up almost allowing the other person to continue with that behavior, giving them permission, basically. So our other fear is that we tend to want to avoid conflict. So we try to please, placate, and sometimes patronize by agreeing. However, what is necessary here is your own authentic response. And sometimes that response can be a total no response. Let's look at that in a little more detail. Let's just summarize the difference between reacting and responding. We often have an impulsive, instinctive reaction because we are afraid of retaliation. We're afraid that if we don't please them, we might receive aggression and attack, and we really are not people who like conflict. At the core of us, we are all made for peace. So we might overreact or react very quickly without thinking, just to get the situation under control, which is human nature. However, we can change human nature. So it's impulsive, triggered, and a snap reaction. Responding means that we have paused, we have thought something through, we have considered a chosen response. And as I said before, this response can be absolutely non-reaction, zero. Not letting it get to you, no communication, no facial expression, no body language, just a non-response. And we'll get into the why and the value of that a little bit later. Just a reminder that When a person blows hot and cold, there's clearly a confusion in the boundary issue on their side. We can choose to hold our own boundary. So inconsistency is a form of boundary violation, and it could mean that they will then violate yours as well, trample it, so to speak, and then re-erect it with you. And then you think, what's going on here? I have learned that in the intelligence service, one of the most powerful and simplest and purest forms of control and of self-management and self-regulation these individuals use is a non-reaction, non-response. This is something we can practice, and it's hard work, let me tell you. We can over time train the other person not to use this game, this hidden agenda, or this hot and cold, or this other motives or game playing, because simply having no result gives them no satisfaction. Initially, yes, they will try harder to get a reaction out of you, but if you stick to your guns and you hold your own and you stay in your authentic choice of how to respond, you will eventually phase out this behavior. And that's very powerful. I must, however, warn you that your consistency is 100% key. If you are inconsistent about it, they will not learn, and it will add to more confusion and frustration in your own life, in your inner world, but also in your relationship. However, if you do succeed by being 100% consistent, there's a dual benefit here, and that is you get to keep your boundaries, in other words, to stay safe and healthy, and the relationship will have less turbulence. Whether the other person continues to go and have hissy fits is not up to you. Your non-response brings you inner peace, and that's what we are actually responsible for. So I'm sure you can see that you do have power here, and it's quite a powerful one. I have so often heard that people say, he won't change, she won't change. But let me tell you, when you begin with a new pattern of behavior, change will happen. There are many patterns in our lives that are conducive, that are good for us, but we also have some destructive patterns. And it's a good idea to look at our own behavior from time to time and see which patterns we have that can do with a bit of changing and chopping. Another powerful question to ask is my focus on them or me? I notice that people climb into the other person's brain trying to figure them out. I need to understand why they do what they do. But knowing why they do what they do will not stop them from doing what they're doing. So climb back into your own body and opt for peace. We tend to opt for pleasing, and that is where we get into a very sticky situation relationship-wise. And no, it's not fun. It's damn well confusing. So you need to ask yourself, am I coping out of fear? Am I behaving this way? Am I copping out? Am I staying rather safe by avoiding the issues? Am I avoiding my own calm, non-violent responses here just to make sure the other person is okay at the cost of my own okayness? Your consistency can become the tracks on which a better, smoother relationship runs. Think about it. It's quite a powerful place to be. People treat us in the way we tolerate. And again, let me remind you that consistency is key. When we take back control, we can change the response options that we choose. But that also means that our own response options can change to other people. So it might have a vice versa effect. They might be doing the same with us. However, it allows us room for growth, and that is something very powerful. I love that Daniel Goleman says there is perhaps no psychological skill more fundamental than resisting impulse. It is the sign of emotional intelligence. It is one of the most predominant signs of emotional intelligence. And yes, and yes, and yes, it can be learned, it can be practiced, and it is entirely possible to become less impulsive. Please help others to get this info. And the way you can do that is to please subscribe, like, and share. The more likes and subscriptions we have, the bigger the chances of YouTube putting it out there for other people to see and to benefit from. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Please let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me also know what other topics you would like me to get into. Have an absolutely fabulous day.